Have you ever just looked around at the world and felt, well, frustrated? Like the rules don't seem to apply to everyone, and that injustice, it kind of feels like it has the upper hand. It's a feeling we all know, and it turns out it's a really, really ancient one. So today, we're going to dive into a text that's thousands of years old, but you know what? It feels like it could have been written this morning. We're talking about Psalm 10.
It is a tough question to just sit with, isn't it? You see it on the news, maybe you see it in your own community, people just getting away with things, the vulnerable getting exploited, and you just want to scream, hey, isn't anybody going to do anything about this?
And that right there, that's what makes this so incredibly powerful. This is not some new 21st century frustration. The person who wrote Psalm 1 was looking at their world and asking the very same questions we do, and they poured all of that helplessness into this incredibly raw, honest poem.
Okay, so let's get into it. The psalm doesn't start with some neat, tidy answer. Oh no, it starts with a cry of anguish, a really direct, challenging question aimed right at the heavens. It doesn't pull any punches.
You can just feel the raw heartache at the center of this, can't you? It's that feeling of being totally alone in the struggle. You're looking for help, and all you hear is silence. It's a cry of pure desperation, just wondering, where is the justice when all the wrong people seem to be winning? So, what's causing all this pain? Well, the psalmist paints a super clear picture for us. This isn't some vague, impersonal evil. No, it's about the specific actions of really arrogant and corrupt people.
What's just wild is how modern this all sounds. I mean, the psalm gives us this vivid picture of people who aren't just doing wrong. They're proud of it. They're totally driven by greed, they prey on people who can't fight back, and they operate with this deep-seated belief that they will never, ever face any consequences for it.
And this right here, this gets to the absolute core of their mindset. The arrogance isn't just about breaking the rules, it's about believing you are completely above them. They're convinced no one is watching, that God is either gone or just doesn't care, which leaves them totally free to do whatever they want.
But this is where the entire mood of the psalm just flips. After laying out the whole problem in painful detail, the author doesn't give up. They make a pivot, a huge one, from complaining to taking action, from despair to prayer.
And this is so important. The psalm says, yeah, it's okay to feel that frustration, but it absolutely refuses to stay there. It actually gives us a roadmap through the darkness, showing how that honest complaint can be the very starting point for real confidence.
The journey here is everything. It starts by just honestly seeing the world's brokenness. But instead of letting that just turn into cynicism, the author channels it upward, into prayer. That raw complaint gets transformed into this powerful expression of trust.
And just listen to the energy here. This isn't some passive, resigned little whisper. No way. It's a demand for action. It's an urgent plea, and it's filled with this belief that God does see, and He does hear, and that He is the ultimate defender of the oppressed.
So all of this builds and builds to the psalm's powerful climax. And the ultimate answer it gives us for all this evil, it isn't a simple fix. It's a radical shift in how we see things, from the temporary to the eternal. This is the one line that changes everything. It completely reframes the whole problem. The wicked, sure, they might seem powerful now, but their reign is temporary. This statement puts their fleeting little arrogance right back in its place, under the authority of an eternal and just king.
And here's the stark contrast laid out for us. On one side, you have the rule of the wicked. It's built on sand, it's temporary, it's arrogant, and its main goal is to target the weak. But on the other side, God's rule. It's eternal, it's just, and it is fundamentally on the side of the oppressed. The injustice doesn't just vanish, but its power is put firmly into perspective.
Okay, so what do we do with this ancient poem today? I mean, really, how does it help us when we're the ones feeling completely overwhelmed by the injustice in our own world?
The thing is, this psalm isn't just history. It's a practical guide. It offers a really clear two-part framework for navigating these incredibly difficult feelings in our own lives. It really teaches us two things. First, it gives us permission to be real with God, to bring our honest doubts, our anger, our frustration right into prayer. And then second, it calls us to go out and reflect God's own heart for justice in the world.
And that's the other piece of the puzzle, right? This faith isn't passive. It propels us to act. If we really believe in a God who defends the oppressed, well, then we're called to reflect that same heart. It moves us from just being upset about injustice to actively standing against it, defending the weak, and living with compassion.
So at the end of the day, Psalm 1 is the source of just profound reassurance. It tells us that God's apparent silence is not the same thing as absence. His timing isn't always our timing, that's for sure, but his justice is certain. He sees, he hears, and in the end, his eternal reign is what will set things right.
And that leaves us with a final thought to carry with us. We're surrounded every day by powers and problems that seem enormous, but are ultimately temporary. This ancient psalm pushes us to look beyond all that and to ask ourselves what and who is truly eternal.